What up guys, it's your brother Joe here and welcome back to my F1 2020 My Team career mode. So just before we get going, there is no full video for Silverstone, just because after this incident on lap 2, it's pretty much just me pottering round at the back, and then when I got close to catching them, I took a gamble towards the end of the race for intermediates, thinking it would be the right call, and it just wasn't. So we finished that race stone dead last, having had the worst drive of my entire career mode. But we have good news. Gone is me using X and square to accelerate and brake. Gone are me using the arrow keys to steer. I am now using the proper conventional controls. So anyway, as you can see, Alex Albon won the British Grand Prix, and with that, Valtteri Bottas takes a 13-point lead over me after my catastrophic performance at Silverstone. But we're going to gloss over that and we're going to come to Hungaroring. We're going to be fresh, we're going to be positive, and we're going to see what we can make of this one. It's going to be a tough weekend ahead, but I think that we can be competitive here. I think that we can get a result to make up for it, although that line round the first corner just is anything less to be desired. But we're going to try and salvage what we can of this lap, and we're already a second up on our second attempt at a qualifying lap, and we've gone 15th, which is not very good at all, but we did make it through. At this point I decided, considering I'm still adapting to the controls, I am going to be using the racing line, as it does help me quite a lot with helping me when to brake and such, especially when I'm adapting to new controls. So just for this point and the foreseeable future, I will be using it. Anyway, Q2, it looks like we're having a reasonably competitive lap. In fact, we are second fastest, so definitely getting up to speed quite quickly. But Q3, you know, our lap just didn't feel quite as solid as that of Q2. There were a couple of mistakes in it, and I think I was lucky to even salvage P9 from that. Not a good effort, but I'm looking to the race, hoping for a better result.
It's race day in Budapest as we get ready for another round of the Formula One World Championship. We don't expect too many retirements at this track. There are plenty of current and former drivers with flawless finish rates here. In particular, Ralf Schumacher. He made it across the line in all 10 of his Hungarian Grand Prix starts. 14 corners then for our drivers to navigate at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring today. It's 6 lefts and 8 rights around a lap here, with average speeds in the region of 120 miles per hour. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about old-timer. The last few races have been a bit rough for them, unable to get a clean run. That's got to have some effect on their confidence, surely.
Certainly confidence is an important factor. And every time you're involved in an incident, it's not just the car you damage, but that confidence as well. But all the top racing drivers are able to tune that out when the race gets underway and focus on the job at hand.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Antoine Hubert completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Albon, Charles Leclerc and Hamilton, Ocon, Ricciardo, Oldtimer and Sebastian Vettel, Sainz, Norris, Daniel Kvyat and Perez, Gasly, Stroll, Antonio Giovinazzi and Kimi Raikkonen, Grosjean, Magnussen, Russell and Nicholas Latifi. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Alright then, let's get this Hungarian Grand Prix underway. It's lights out and away we go once again. And we've got a pretty decent start. If I can jump both the Renaults, that'd be good. Hamilton didn't seem to get away very well, and I was trying to go either side of him. I think we might have nudged him there. We've made up a fair few places, sending it down the inside of the first corner. We're up to P5, and Hubert and Verstappen are side by side for second. Go on, Antoine. Go on, stick it to him. I think he's had to back out of that one, and Leclerc's lost some momentum in doing so, and I was able to take fourth. I did have a look at Hubert for third, but it just didn't, the move just didn't work out in the end. But we did manage to take advantage of the fact that while Verstappen and Hubert went side by side, Leclerc lost some momentum, and that's how we took 4th off him, and we got a little bit wide at the chicane there, trying to take avoiding action to not hit our teammate. Leclerc's now having a look up the inside of the first corner, and he's just on fire in this one, but I'm staying to the left here. I'm not going to give this up easy. I am going to fight him for this, and that is P4 taken back right behind my teammate. But the problem is I'm battling Leclerc too much. It's allowing the front three to get away, and Leclerc just sticking his nose up my inside there and just sort of forcing his nose and forcing his way up my inside. Down the straight we go. We're side by side into turn 1. I'm trying to hold it out around the outside. He's got the better exit here, but I'm using my ERS to try and get back in that slipstream. We dive back down the inside. We force Leclerc a bit wide, and that is P4. And now we've got Ocon to worry about. But instead of that, we make our first of 2 scheduled pit stops on the end of lap 6. And I'm beginning to think that maybe, just maybe, a 2-stop strategy may not be the way to go around here. For sure, there's a lot of corners, so having the better tyres could work out, but there's not a lot of overtaking opportunities around here. But first up is Latifi, and I'm just going to send it up the inside there. Not strictly an overtaking place, but I made it as such. Some of the guys have already pitted, but they've gone on for hard. So clearly Leclerc is going to the end of the race. So maybe the 2-stop, unless we can get a gap, could be a mistake here. Down the inside of George Russell there. And I think there was a bit of contact there. I don't think that was the cleanest of moves. But we've got it done. Now we're coming up to the teammate, Antoine Hubert, who is stuck behind Kimi Räikkönen at the moment. So that's not good for him. Ideally, because of the championship, I need Hubert to kind of get out of my way and make this one easier for me, but he's just not doing that. If anything, he's more concerned with fighting off Räikkönen. So we're going to sort of take a dive up the inside here. Well, we didn't mean to knock him out the way. But we're now up into P12. So we've got to get past these guys as quickly as possible and then try and make our way towards the front. A lot of these now are one-stopping, so we have to do this on track. And I'm starting to realise at this point that maybe my strategy call was the wrong one, that I probably should have opted to start on mediums. We get past Kimi Räikkönen there despite going wide in the first part of that move. And now next up is Romain Grosjean for 10th place. That 1 point, and I don't know what my pronunciation was there, Romain Grosjean. No idea what happened there. But down the inside we go. P10, that is ours. So Grosjean is now fighting back, but we are not going to accept any of that at all. We're going to try and have a look back down the inside here again. That was very close to me smashing him off there. Grosjean still fighting me, but I have the inside here. And Grosjean will just have no choice but to back out of it. Right, next up is Verstappen and Giovinazzi. And Verstappen, it's unclear what strategy he's on either, to be honest with you. So it could be anything at this point, but we need to get past both these guys if we're going to have any chance at moving forwards. Especially the Alfa Romeo. You do not want to be caught up behind him for too much longer. Down the outside of Verstappen there, trying the Ricciardo overtake. That's not really worked for us at all, because Verstappen had some good momentum here. We're going to try and overtake here that I really wouldn't recommend doing at all, because 9 times out of 10 that won't work. But this time we made it work, and we are up into P9. Maybe it was a move that was born slightly out of frustration, but we've got it, and now we are currently sat in P2. But we need to make that second pit stop, and I'm trying to get a gap to Antoine Hubert, which is only about 9 seconds. That will not be enough to maintain position on him. And in fact, we've made our second stop now, and we have dropped back down to 12th. Make that 13th, but you know what? That right there is proof that the 2-stop strategy round here just has not worked for us at all. If anything, that's left me in a more compromising position. But live and learn, you know. And I learned I learned the hard way that two-stop around Budapest just won't work. Right, we're fighting now with Lance Stroll, and he's fighting me quite hard here, but we're able to just sweep round him, round the outside. Obviously, again on fresh tyres with that amazing grip we got, and we're now up into 12th. Next up is Sebastian Vettel, who's having a bit of a shocker, if I'm honest, and we're just going to drop him down even further, down to 12th. It's not a good day for Seb. Next up is Gasly and Perez, and they are fighting over 9th. So if we can catch them, we might be able to get past both of them relatively quickly. We knock out a fastest lap there, so we've definitely found pace. But what we don't have is track position, and unfortunately, like I said, the two-stop strategy for us just has not worked. Now we've got to get these guys on track, and we've got to get as many of them as we can. So Perez is there in P10, but I'm going to take a dive up the inside of the chicane. That's P10 grabbed. Thank you very much. Next up is Gasly, who is in 9th, and then it's Albon. I don't know how many of these we are going to be able to get, but I'm going to get as many of them as I can. But realistically, I need to get past Gasly as soon as possible, have clear track for a couple of laps, and just set some really quick lap times. So Gasly is the priority now, and again, we're going to take a dive up the inside of the chicane. Okay, that was definitely not a clean move, and I do apologise for that one. But we have passed Gasly now, and we are up into 9th. Next up is Albon and Leclerc, who we were battling earlier, as you may remember. And, well, we definitely weren't very kind to Leclerc, and I don't think we're going to have any room to be kind to him again as we catch up with both him and Alex Albon. This will be for P7, and then I'm hoping we can catch whoever's in P6. I'm not sure who it is at the moment, but I think we've got Kvyat in P5, who's having an absolutely stunning race. Right, down the inside of Alex Albon. That is the position gained on him. And in fact, it's Lando Norris in 6th, and we know that Daniel Kvyat is in P5, doing brilliantly for AlphaTauri here. But we're now after Charles Leclerc, and this is not a very friendly dive bomb at all. And there is definitely a bit of contact there, but we've made the move work. And we are now sitting in P7 with a mission to get after Norris and Kvyat. And, well, the Racing Points day has just gone from bad to worse. Car number 18, which I believe is Lance Stroll, so he's not going any further. But now we've got the battle for 5th, and I'm just going to take a dive up the inside of Norris, because I know that if I didn't do it soon, getting after Kvyat would be very hard. But actually, in the end, I was not able to get after Daniel Kvyat. We're going to cross the line 6th. That's a disappointing day, really. Could have been better.
The Mercedes team pulled out a fantastic performance today. They should be proud. And talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot. A well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Well, I don't know what else to say really, other than the fact that my strategy call was what let me down there. The two-stopper just didn't work out for me. You know, despite having the faster tyres, we weren't able to make up the necessary time, and as a result, we finish in P6. But it's not all bad news. You know, we still managed to do some good damage limitation despite having a poor race. Hubert also got 4th, but Carlos Sainz nailing a podium together there. That's pretty cool. But yeah, Bottas taking the win over Verstappen, and like I said, I think we could have definitely been in the top 4 if not for the poor strategy call that we made. Well, I'm going to leave you with the highlights then. Bottas now 31 points ahead, and I'm starting to fear this championship is slipping through my fingers. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you all soon.